We're back.
We're back again.
We're here to talk about homework.
Yes.
Oh, there's bunnies up in your thing.
I know.
Cute.
And come spring, there'll be a whole bunch of little ones there.
Okay. So, we had this conversation in Race not long ago, and there was a person in the room in attendance who had kind of an epiphany about something. Mm-hmm. And then I noticed this really interesting phenomenon. This person went around the room and like started asking every person of color in the room about this epiphany that he was having. And I feel like, it was a really raw conversation. This person asked my children for their input. And I felt in that moment, like this adult who was having all this awareness and good intentioned, mm-hmm. he was really asking a lot of people who were already kind of giving a lot emotionally yep. to help him understand something deeper. And that was great. But I had this deep sense of like, it's not up to my 9-year-olds to explain this to you.
Yep.
And the way that he asked and what he did and the way he approached it very much gave me this feeling of like he wanted them to do the emotional homework for him.
Mm-hmm. And that's not their responsibility.
So I want to talk about this edge where, let's say you're starting to like wake up, for lack of a better word, and you're kind of, whoa, I'm having some understandings. As a white person, I'm realizing, I'm learning, I'm listening. There are some things that I didn't know that I didn't know. Mm-hmm. Now, what am I going to do with that? Mm-hmm. So can I tell a story about my kiddo's 4th grade classroom?
Sure.
They have the most amazing teacher, and she has a rule in her house. In that classroom, and she says, you have to ask 3 before me. And what she means by that is if the kids haven't listened or they come in late or something's going on or they're coming back from a specialist or something, instead of coming up to her and asking her all day long what they're doing, they're responsible to check with 3 peers before they ask the teacher. Mm-hmm. And I feel like those of us who are trying to learn more about the conversation, like that man at that event the other night, mm-hmm. he could have Googled and read 3 blog posts by 3 people who'd already done the work, mm-hmm. emotional homework, and put that out there, and not taxed my 9-year-olds.
And to their credit, or to your credit, you asked them. You said you don't have to answer that. She said that to her kids, and then her kids said, "Yeah, we want to answer actually." So, but it sounds like the way it was approached, he didn't give them an option. Like, could I ask you a question? Like, just looking for an answer, right?
Yeah.
Or did he ask you first?
He did not ask me first.
So.
But even at that, here's what I'll say. Like, I get that he's having a lot of feelings and he's having a lot to work through. Mm-hmm. But if somebody else has already written the curriculum, do we have to tax the people who are already giving? You know, and I feel like that was, so I guess this is just a suggestion. I'm just laying, who said that the other night in the conversation? She said, white people, get your white people, right? Like that concept.
That was one of our actors.
And so what I'll say is, if you're learning and you're understanding or you're having a lot of emotions and you're white and you're new to this conversation, just check in with yourself and be like, is there some way that I could find this out without causing someone else to do emotional homework for me?
I mean, that pretty much sums it up. I don't know if I need to even. Thanks for doing your homework. So I didn't have to hardly say anything. So yeah, I agree with you. Do a little of that. Don't expect people of color to do everything for you. And when you have opportunities to go to events where people of color are speaking, like actively listen. Don't make it about you. Like take that opportunity, that 90 minutes or whatever you have, to just soak it all in. And then when you get home, process and talk it through with your friends or whoever you went with or whatever, you know. But give people of color that platform or the ability to tell their story, speak their piece, uninterrupted, you know.
I try to keep my comments to less than 2 minutes or 1 minute. Mm-hmm. I mean, I try really hard to be concise. I try to wait for you to tell me to speak. Right? I'm trying to because it's your turn to have the floor in those conversations. It's not about my feelings. Now, I have a group of friends of white women who are supportive of me, who love me. They're my Voxettes. We have a group chat on Voxer. Mm-hmm. And so we take what we've learned from these conversations and then we hash that out white person to white person, and we're like, what about this? And what about this? And why did I feel this way? Right? So we do all of that together so that I'm not coming to you with all those questions or feelings or bringing my emotional baggage to the table.
That's good. That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, and shout out to my Voxettes because they've seen me in some pretty gnarly moments.
I think it's certainly a start. So keep that in mind when you are examining emotional homework. Don't put that on the person of color. Try to ask 3 before you ask me.
We're moving on to the next video.
See you next time.